Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I'm Sybil Wilkes, and the guys are back today. Hello, Damon Williams, comedian extraordinaire. How are you?
Doing fantastic, trying to keep cool in the hot city.
Aw. And- I remember those days where, warm, hot days were unusual, but now I live in a place where it's now 100 degrees is the norm in the month of June.
Yeah.
It's a little early, but and the heat advisories and all that good stuff. How about you, Khameron? How are you surviving?
I'm doing well. My family and I are thankfully all well cooled. My grandma's okay, so ultimately I'm okay.
So that is the concern, especially for people who are working out in this weather, as well as they tell you to check on your elders and those that are, at home, because you guys had a major storm go through Chicago.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yep. And people out there who are watching, we should not be surprised anymore that when these extreme weather systems make their way across the country, they bring with them a rise in temperatures.
I thought I thought the temperature decreased with the rain.
Yeah, it typically heats up before rain,
Uh-huh.
and then usually when it heats up afterward, there's another storm system brewing.
Ah.
Some people
But with that storm system comes power outages. Did you guys experience any of that?
there was a flickering over here. I
Okay.
don't know about you, Damon.
My household has a complete power outage because I'm the light bill police. I'm around here turning everything off. It look like a power outage around here.
Well, let me ask this: as far as your wife and the girls are concerned, and the girls being the puppies, um, i- is the air on?
The air is on,
Okay.
yes, but it's always the light over the microwave, the light over the sink. I don't like to see a light like a speaker charging. Why is that blue light on if you're not using the speaker? I'm the light. I understand my parents now. I am the light bill police. I am. There's a brownout around here, and call me Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown. And do you remember the moment that, which is probably a good express yourself question? Do you remember the moment you became your parents, and especially when it comes to turn that light on, close that door, get out the refrigerator? Do you remember that?
Yeah, vividly, and I continuously remember it. No, it's just it's wasteful, and
Mhm.
actually it's better for the environment if we all kind of conserve our energy around here. But to be honest, like we got air going, we got fans, and you know it adds up.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are things on the road there, Khameron, as you're moving across the city?
Thankfully, today I was working from home, but the other days when I've been riding my bike across the city, I've had to pack extra water. I've definitely been on my camel type stuff. There's a gentleman across the street from me who works as like a safe passage person uh, after hours for schools. They're
Hmm.
like first responders on the streets. And I went out there today to give him some water, make sure that he was okay. So people, yeah, gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah. Stay
If you're riding a
hydrated.
bike, you need to pack extra drawers.
Clothes.
It
That's
is.
what I was.
Yeah, think
That's what
that's
I
yeah,
was thinking.
yeah.
I don't know if there's a shower where you work, but I would think maybe some a fresh pair, uh, and a towel and some flip flops and all that to take a shower at work so that you can cool off and clean
A backpack full of moist towelettes, something.
Damon, remember the handy wipes?
And the handy wipes and the little moist towelettes they would give you at KFC back in the
Right,
day
right.
when it
The
was
little,
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
right, exactly. So if we're gonna work on that care package for you, Khameron.
Well, thank you for my. It takes a village, truly.
Truly, and all of us, and we'll talk about the weather as we go on. But obviously, this is nothing to play with, and it's one extreme to the other. If it's not heat, you have flood situations, and if it's not a flood, it's fire. And so, please be careful out there. All right, let's talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter, young Khameron. This is our Monday through Friday effort to keep the folks informed and empowered. It's absolutely free. The subscription is free. So please go to SybilWilkes.com to subscribe. Just give us your name and your email address. You know how this works, I hope. And if it's new to you, we would love to have you as a part of the What You Need to Know news crew. And name, email address, and it'll be in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. Khameron, when we were working on this story, I wanted just one word for this, and it's an obscure reference now, but to one of the most famous movies of its time, The Graduate. And I just wanted the title of your article to say plastics. I got one word for you: plastics. In The Graduate, that was the big line when the character was graduating from college and getting advice from people. And this friend at his graduation party is telling him, get into plastics. That's the way to go. But now we are finding that plastics is not the way to go. It's not a good thing. And it is not only interrupting our environment, it could be hazardous to our own health.
Agreed. Yeah, Sybil. The reason why I love working for What You Need to Know is because we deal in solutions and we deal in equipping people with the necessary info that they need to just get through the week. And so when I write this article about everyone being essentially made of 15% plastic now, I don't write that to frighten or shock anyone.
Well, it did. It did for me.
Yeah, like on a chemical level, yeah. But
it woke me up.
But I write that to to inspire people. Say, hey, if you've been looking to quit seafood, now's a good time to do it. If you've been looking to adjust your life in other ways, now is a good time to do it, because National Geographic has compiled a massive data set about the presence of microplastics in anything and everything. And Damon, Sybil, we learned back in grade school that it takes plastic forever to break down, and now we are just now learning how long that forever really is. So much so that we are finding traces of plastic in Antarctica, in the world's most remote regions. Yeah, in the snow. Teeny, tiny microscopic particles that carry toxins in them that break down and melt the snow, which cause sea levels to rise and exacerbate symptoms of global warming. But also there's plastic in everything that we eat.
The fish.
And the research on those toxins links it to your cancers, your lung diseases, all of the things that we know disproportionately affect Black people. So, Damon, as a picture of health, and Sybil as a proprietor of health and wellness, I think it's time as Black people, we really need to be honest with ourselves and say, you know what, it's time that we distance ourselves from these things.
How do we
Sybil,
start that,
I became
Damon?
a cheese addict in the pandemic. I was so anti-cheese, but now I can't get rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Khameron, what's the first step for us? How do we begin this fight against the way of life that we have come to know, whether it's in our vegetables, because the water that is used to grow the vegetables, there's plastic there. The seafood that we eat, there's plastic in those animals. You name it. If it's in our snow, then it's everywhere.
It makes it in our soil if you're growing the plant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. The way that I like to think about it is like, sit with yourself and ask yourself, what is your ministry? What is your calling? If it's your calling to look underneath every plastic container and remember all those numbers, then do that. If instead you've been thinking, okay, I want to start preparing my own dog's food, then do that, because there's plastic in your dog food.
Yeah.
Or if you want to make other habits, or if you want to make other healthier choices, then do that instead. I've been eating fish a lot in the pandemic. That's where all of our plastic is going. So now, after writing this article, I'm like, okay, I got to cut fish out for good. But I love my oysters though. But
I'm with you, and you hold on to those oysters, young man. It'll come in handy, I promise you.
Yes.
But I'm thinking about, I got like a couple of pieces of salmon in my refrigerator, and that I'm marinating right now. And now I'm thinking, do I want to go and eat this salmon? Because as much as I love salmon, I'm kind of scared about everywhere I turn, because I wasn't kidding, Damon. I had, a plastic container here, and I was looking to see what the number is, because I am almost fanatical about recycling day. And all of the paper that I use, I put it in the recycling bin. All of the plastics that I use, all of the cans, all of the bottles, they go in, I clean them, and then I put them in the recycling bin. But is it doing any good?
Right. Yeah. So like on like the hyper local level, we know that there is like a disproportionate number of plastic that just doesn't flat out get recycled for whatever reason. But so that's not to say that recycling is bad, but there are other ways that we can cut down on our plastic usage too. Since plastic is now kind of in everything.
Damon, are you a recycler?
Absolutely, yes. We are fanatical as well. I mean, we recycle everything, even aluminum foil. Anything I think is recyclable, I just put it in there, and hopefully they can sort it out. But they say, a very small percentage of things we recycle even makes it to the recycling situation. I mean, I remember one story you said you were at Reach, I think it was, and you were putting all the stuff in the recycle bin, then they came and dumped it all in the same thing.
All in the same with the regular trash. And I was like, well, I'll be damned. Okay.
Yeah. But as far as this plastic consumption, I mean, it's pick your poison nowadays, because we've been eating seafood, fish, mostly to avoid the red meat and the pork and things of that nature. And now he's telling me that there's plastic in the fish. I think I'm just going to lay out in the sun and hope it melts. I'm just going to lay out every day and hope plastic drips out my pores, because I can't stop eating everything. Otherwise, we just starve to death. So where do we go?
Right. I'll even give you another example of what I've done. I tried to stop using the plastic containers for laundry detergent. Wow. And so I started buying these strips, the laundry detergent strips, right? Not in the liquid form. And I don't know if I think it disagrees with my skin, because I have very sensitive skin. But I'm still, trying to find a brand that agrees with me. And because they say that these plastic containers for our detergent don't recycle as well. And I'm just really kind of frustrated and scared. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, and like there are, certain camps that are like, okay, it's either damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I'm just gonna do whatever I want, and I totally get that. But me just as a consumer of knowledge, a person acquainted with the responsibility of leaving a place better than how you found it. I pick a couple things that I know I can make a difference in, and I try to stick to them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to try to stick with the recycling. I'm going to try to, I don't know about the food thing. I don't know what's left.
Right.
Damon, I mean, like you said, you're trying to avoid the meat and, the beef, the pork, all of that kind of stuff. And it comes to you in a plastic container, but okay.
Now, we also know about the dangers of plastic and heat, as far as leaving plastic water bottles in your car and the chemicals and toxins released that way. So it's so many obstacles out here. And the best thing you could do is try to do the best you can do. But at some point, you got to live. Otherwise, we're going to have to start shaving bark off trees to eat. I don't know. I don't even have a hearty appetite, but I need to eat. So I don't know. Sugar would be my biggest problem anyway. Yeah. I could avoid all the plastic, but that sugar it's worse than cocaine, they say, and I believe them.
You're right. I'm with you on that too. I absolutely believe that.
I don't know if you
and I don't eat lemon pepper. I don't trust it. I don't know what's in it. It never existed. Big Mama didn't cook with lemon pepper. It don't taste like lemon. It don't taste like pepper. What the hell is lemon pepper? And here in Chicago, all the Arab-owned fried food places insist upon the lemon pepper. Sir, lemon pepper? You say no, they be like, what? No lemon pepper, brother? No lemon pepper. I never heard of lemon pepper till the 2000s. Where the hell did lemon pepper come from? And Khameron, please do the research on lemon pepper for next week.
Okay, so this is funny because Khameron, we're gonna make that your assignment. But in my refrigerator, these pieces of salmon, lemon pepper, and soy-free soy sauce. Because soy isn't good for us. So I have soy-free soy sauce, but I'm sure there's some plastic in there. So
what is we gonna do?
What is we gonna do now? I don't know. Well, I will tell you, we're gonna hopefully continue to report on what's going on in Washington, D.C. And if nobody else is watching, I will watch for you. That is the hearings of the January 6th committee investigating the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, January 6, 2021. Day 2 of the hearing was held, and just for folks who don't know, they started last week. It was at nighttime, prime time watching, and 20 million people they suspect watched. They don't have the full count yet, but they are looking in the 20 million mark of viewers that Thursday night in the opening presentation, which was pretty powerful, with a Capitol Hill police officer, this woman who told how she was, slipping on the blood of her partners as they were being attacked, how she blacked out, came back and saw her partner just completely lose it. He had no color in his face as a result of the attack, that he was at the mercy of the people who were attacking this country. And so that was powerful, as well as the video of the Proud Boys and things like that. So that was the first day. The second day hearing, we found out that Donald Trump won't listen to anybody but a drunk Rudy Giuliani. Everybody to a person said, don't go out there and claim the election. Don't go out there and say anything about fraud. Don't go out there and say anything. Rudy drinking up a storm election night at the White House and told him, go tell him you won. go tell him you won. And that's what Donald Trump did. It's all drunk Rudy's fault. The former mayor of New York City, America's mayor, the big time attorney general, U.S. attorney general in New York, all of that just gone out the window, because he is the one. And so part of the headline for the story was also follow the money, because as Donald Trump continued to talk about the election fraud and encourage people to donate to his election fraud fund, and in order to fight all of these cases in the various states, the money wasn't going to fraud, because every time the people came back and said, he goes, well, go check the machines that say that people have said, when they went to vote for me, it's automatically flipped to Biden's name. Or go check all of the boxes and boxes and boxes of ballots that came in, and they're like, that's the way they do it in Detroit. It's not illegal, what they're doing there. And so everything, and he just kept coming back. So he puts up this whole big fraud campaign, and the money is not going to his defense in trying to prove fraud. It's going to these various organizations of people who are still holding on to Donald Trump's coattails, who are still loyal to him, including, like, they had a rundown on the numbers. $1 million went to his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows' organization. It's a conservative charitable foundation called the Conservative Partnership Institute. Another $1 million to the American First Policy Institute. Even $200,000 to the Trump Hotel Luxury Collection.
Yep. He's enriching himself with these people's gullible nature. And his minions are sending the money in, and even his daughter-in-law, I believe, or his son's ex-girlfriend got a couple $100,000. But I look at anybody that fell for that and sent money in for that, I wouldn't care what they did with that money because you dumb to do it to begin with.
Yeah.
On Daily Show, Trevor Noah had him depicted as like the Nigerian princess who hit you with the emails,
Right.
with the fraud emails from Nigeria.
Yeah. How can you people fall for that? And how can you people fall for that?
Those are the same people that buy Miracle Spring Water at night on BET.
and don't forget the pillow guy. Yeah.
At least you can use a pillow. Miracle Spring Water. They sent out a driplet of water, and people think that. And in the testimonials, well, before I had a problem with all my bills, but I sprinkled Miracle Spring Water over my bills, and poof, they all went away.
It's a miracle. Yes, it is. That's why we call it that. Okay, guys. So that's what's in our newsletter. Let us move on to and find out what's really going on. This is our question of the day. And in advance of Father's Day, I want to find out who. I tried this with Huggy and Chris. I didn't get very far. So I'm looking at a new tack as we remind people that Father's Day is upon us. So who's your favorite TV dad? From a comedy or a drama? We'd like to know from Damon, from Khameron, and the folks that are watching and listening. I'll give you some examples. Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or Randall from This Is Us. This is not a comedy, obviously, as I said, a drama. But definitely everybody probably has, and it's still fair to say, because this was his act. This was his shtick. Love him or hate him for the person that he has been depicted to be now. But Bill Cosby was America's dad, TV dad, for how many years. So we'd like to hear from you. Who is your favorite TV dad? And I'll go with Randall just because I think he's hot. But growing up, there were other. I don't know if it was Carl from the Carl the policeman. What's that show?
That's Family Matters.
Family Matters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you right now, James Evans from Good Times was the realest, blackest, fatherist person you've seen on TV, because he had like relatable black father issues.
Yeah.
The unemployment thing was kicking his butt. If somebody did anything to threaten his family, he would threaten them with that. He was a protector. He was funny. He was stern. And then a dark horse would be Robin Harris in the House Party movie.
Oh, wow.
Bravo. Tip of the hat to him as well.
Shout out.
Man, for sure. What about you, Cam?
I was a big fan of Terry Crews from Everybody Hates Chris.
That's another good stand-up guy. Yeah.
Only because like Everybody Hates Chris really captured like the essence of what my mom goes through, whereas like the black mom is like the CEO of like the family business. And sometimes the dad is also seeking refuge from the wrath of the mom. And so that's where Chris and Chris's dad like really bonded in those moments that were like written really well.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah. They're all good.
He was a classic because he was so thrifty and frugal. And so it was humorous how he'd be about that. But understanding now, being a dad and a leader of a household who is around here causing a brownout with the electric bill, I
get it. and that's real. That's real. Yeah, for sure. Who I also was thinking about? Bernie Mac from the Bernie Mac Show.
But Bernie was such a tyrant, though, in the early seasons. He was like a real tyrant.
Well, but he
had to get the kids in line.
He had to get them in order, because these were his sister's children. He was bringing into his family, and they were a little not quite in line with the Bernie Mac way of thinking, and so he did what he had to do, and he did have a soft spot for those kids, as you could tell. But I thought, as far as a modern day situation, when you talk about bringing families together and them taking her sister's kids or his sister's kids and bringing them into the family and doing what you got to do, raising them with a firm hand but with an open heart. I thought that he was absolutely brilliant, and this was based on his real life situation too.
Right. And the best potential stepdad goes to James Earl Jones and Claudine because she had all them babies, and then he came in, and, did the man thing. So let's give him a shout out too, and let's give Claudine a shout out because that monkey had to be incredible.
and to Diane Carroll, who wasn't used to dressing down
right
the way her character had to
indeed
in that movie. And James Earl Jones gave a good look to the garbage men too. Sanitation workers.
Yeah, he's a blue collar guy that was stand up. Not only did he stand up by trying to take care of them kids, but he also tried to stand up in it, as we used to say on the show.
I was wondering how soon we were gonna get a monkey reference there, David.
Well, you know what's next. Where do you want me to put it? It's been a while. I can't put it nowhere with all these kids in this house.
Go outside and play.
Put it away.
Before we have more. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, so people are pitching in with their comments, and so let's take them. And I'm sure we'll also have some comments to their comments. So Yolanda, let's hear and see where the people are as far as their comments are concerned. And I'm wondering if we're going to have some ones that we just haven't even thought of.
Let's go with Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son.
How about that? Frank Wimsat on YouTube says George Jefferson.
Sure.
Forgot about George. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was funny too.
He was funny, and he really was concerned about the woman his son was going to marry.
Yeah, he was funny. He was a little racist. Weren't we all in the 70s?
Wasn't that just the way we were raised?
Yeah. Anytime you can say hunky on CBS.
Okay. And encouraged by the white producer to do so.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So Renita Bland, our friend on Facebook, said, Eddie votes for Andy Griffith. I loved Opie when he was little. So I wasn't thinking in terms of the white TV dads, but I think that Andy Griffith was one of my favorite shows, and growing up watching the reruns there. So I agree with you. I wasn't so crazy about Opie, but Andy had like a calm and a presence about him, both at the house and at the jail. And he had Ed B and Opie, and then he had Barney at the job. So he was like, oh man, I'm surprised he didn't smoke or drink or something. But
then he had Otis the drunk in the can all the time.
Okay. But that was the cool thing, Khameron, is that they just left it open, and Otis, when he got on a tear drinking, he'd just go and put himself in the jail cell. It's great. It's great. Absolutely love it.
Whimsical times of television.
I know. Trina Jackson on Facebook said, I love Robin Harris, R.I.P. Absolutely. Agreeing with you there, Damon. Robin was one of a kind. And House Party, I don't know if there'll ever be another situation like that, because not only did he have that on the screen there, on the big screen with House Party, but the cartoon. And that was pretty awesome too. He was one of a kind. But if you're talking about Gwen Turner on YouTube says, still Cosby despite everything. There were some magical Thursday nights. You're absolutely right. Those were some magical Thursday nights. And I don't know if you guys saw the Tony Awards the other night. Speaking of Cosby, but Felicia Rashad won a Tony for this play, and she has such grace, and she took a lot of hits for the whole Cosby thing, but she's back, and she's just an incredible force and doing great things from what I understand. And so that's just a side run there, but just congratulations to her. And
well, while you're in that lane, let's give it up for Chicago's own Jennifer Hudson. Yeah, she won. She's an EGOT. So now she's an EGOT. Yes,
she's an EGOT. And Damon, I think it's interesting that half of the EGOTs came from half of the EGOT status came from producing, which I think is key to this, and people in this business. She's part of the celebrity producers, and I thought that was really great. It takes
absolutely. It takes a lot of brain power.
And money.
Recall, as I recall, the Quincy Jones biopic takes a lot of brain power.
Yeah, for sure. And she was right up there with RuPaul and all the other celebrity producers that were a part of A Strange Loop was the musical that won. It's Tony, and so all the producers get theirs. Robin Williamson Bennett said Robert Townsend in the Parenthood.
Yeah, Robert's cool.
So a real family member? Or you claim?
There, he is on the tree. Yeah.
On the Townsend tree.
Over there. He's over there.
Okay, yeah, and from Chicago, so very well could be. Renita Bland type. That's nice. And he still does. Renita Bland on Facebook said Tiger Woods always gave a shout out to his daddy Earl. And so much so, Renita, that when Tiger won, he was inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame. His daughter, who gave the speech bringing him into the golf, referenced her grandfather and what an effect he had on him. So that's one of those things where she I don't know if she was born before or after Earl Woods died, but I'm sure that her father talked so much about him to his kids that it's almost as if he is a part of their lives, as if he had been a part of their lives as a living grandfather, as a living person in his father's life. So it's very
Tiger
cool.
Woods biopic is definitely on its way. It was delayed because of the whole thing.
Life.
I feel like it's
one thing we know for sure that the little girl was born before Earl Woods got a TV show, which was the question. But if we just gonna pick out random daddies.
Okay. Okay, so can we say, I don't know if we can say his name anymore, but certainly Will Smith in King Richard, and as Richard Williams did a fine job, although not a TV show, a movie, and one of the latest ones showing what heart, what insight, and what a great mind for looking ahead and putting his children in the right place. Mr. Richard Williams had and did so.
Yes.
Joe Jackson says Jackie Welsh.
Hey.
Okay. Said that on Facebook. What do you think, Damon?
I'm down for Joe. Look, if I wish somebody would have beat me and my siblings to millionaire status.
My mom says the same thing about us all the time. She's like, I want to be Joe Jackson. I'd want to do it. I want to let y'all find your own way. I'm like, okay, mom.
Beat me to a mansion.
Okay, so Janet Ferguson on Facebook says Lawrence Fishburne in Boys in the Hood.
Definitely. Definitely a good father.
Is mean. That was a good one. I'm trying to think. I had somebody else and I wrote it down. I can't find it, but we do have other examples. And so keep sharing them. We love to hear it. And especially
I had someone for like,
oh no! I was thinking this, and I said we can't use Uncle Joe from Petticoat Junction, but Carolyn Jones Jameson did on Facebook. Here's Uncle Joe. He's a moving rather slow at the junction.
Yeah, they went way back with that one. We'll throw Mr. Drummond in there while we at it.
Okay.
I was waiting for how long it was going to take for me to start Googling things, and
you definitely need to Google Petticoat Junction, because if you know that, then you're beyond your years.
You're way beyond, and your probably your mama's years too. That girl on YouTube says Nick Cannon. He's on TV. He's Good a dad to many.
Good job.
And from what we understand, maybe more on the way. So that's a great one, that girl. I love it.
That's hilarious.
Absolutely love that. That's funny. There are a lot of really great dads out there, and we wish you all a very happy and wonderful Father's Day. Damon, are you celebrating? Are you going to be home?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be home. I was going to be in Detroit, but it looks like I'll be returning from South Bend. I have a show in South Bend Saturday, and I'll be driving back Sunday morning. So I'm available To everybody that's listening
No seafood.
for Father's Day.
Easy on the plastic, please.
Yeah,
Yeah, just throw me some bark on the grill.
Off the trees, and you'll be good to go. Get a little roughage in your diet there. All right. So everybody, thank you for participating in our question of the day and your favorite TV dad. So thanks a lot. We appreciate it. All right. So now it is trending topic time. And Damon, let's start with your gigs. What do you have coming up?
This Friday, I will be in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at a place called D&J Vending. You know, it's time to start asking more questions. But myself, Kitty Howell, and Sonia D, two Chicago comedians that have been on Def Comedy Jam many times, are also on that show and in Fort Wayne Saturday at the Century Center. I've been to the Century Center. I don't know this D&J Vending spot, but you know, the same promoter's doing them, and I know him for a long time, so I'm doing that for him. Still encouraging everyone to watch the movies. I have 2 movies on Tubi right now. Yep. Heaven on 7.
I love that, Damon. I've been meaning to tell you.
Oh, good.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, good job.
And Not Another Black movie just got popped up there too. It's a spoof. It's all over the place, but I'm in it. Okay. Including Aunt Viv, the first Aunt Viv, dark skin Aunt
Viv. Hubert.
Yes. What is that? That's the sad. Janet.
Hubert. Yeah.
Yes, her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Janet Hubert. But that's about it for now. Okay. Oh, also you can catch the episode 6 of that damn Michael Shea show. I got a quick little cameo in there as well.
Oh, nice.
HBO Max.
The new season.
Yes, season 2.
Awesome. That just I think it just started, right?
Not recently, yep.
Okay. So that damn Michael Shea show. And that is what we'll look forward to. And we'll write that down. Khameron, what you got going on? You're working on some projects.
Yeah, working on a couple things. I wrote a new play in 18 hours about this cursed red line train. It's finished. It's done. It's called Coronary Artery. It's a good play. I'm looking for some funding to just pay for the filming of it because I want to shoot it on the train in situ. You know, cast all my friends and family, and you know, get some really good gore makeup going on because there's zombies in it.
There's always zombies on the train. Yes.
Yeah.
In real life.
Okay.
And I did have. There's going to be some official announcements coming up in July, August, because one of my plays is up for an award pretty soon. The same play I threw at Juilliard, so I'm not surprised.
Good for you. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. I had to pull out of a festival because they like moved the date up, and I'm like, why would you do that to me? And so I
you didn't take it personally, did you?
Kind of. Kind of like spiritually personal.
Okay.
But then I was like, you know what? It's all right. It just gives me time to like reflect. I have like a project management sheet for my life, so it was nice to like clear out a couple cells.
Okay. I like that project management sheet. Okay. Some of us just have like a plan, a 5-year plan. You have a project management sheet. All right.
Well, what do you have coming up, Sybil?
I had nothing.
I'm kidding. I have something for you. I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
In Chicago.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I do want to talk about what's going on.
What?
No.
He's like, what? Wait.
No.
No.
Okay. So I do want to talk about the things that have happened today, and that is 1 month ago today was the brutal slaying of 10 Black people in a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, and the city of Buffalo held a memorial today, 1 month after the horrific mass shooting at the Top supermarket that claimed the lives of 10 people and injured 3 others. And the ceremony was about showing what a loving and resilient community Buffalo is, that area, the east side of Buffalo, according to the Buffalo mayor, Byron Brown. And that's what the ceremony was about, remembering the victims killed in the mass shooting and hearing from those who survived. And one of the survivors said that my goal is to return to my home. Tops Market is right here on Jefferson Avenue. I'm excited about the reopening. I'm not sure how I will feel walking in there, and that's what everybody's saying. Because there's two concerns. The first concern is, will Tops reopen? In what form? Will they come back into that neighborhood? And how likely are people to return to it after what happened? And but they are remembering the Buffalo 10, according to the reports, as I mentioned, and also the survivors. There's one young man, his mother testified on Capitol Hill last week, and her name is Zanetta Everhard, and her son Zaire is maybe 20. He was shot several times, and she told the politicians there on Capitol Hill, if you want to know what this looks like and what the effects of the weapons that you are allowing to be distributed and sold in our community, I ask you to come and help me clean the bullet wounds that my son still has on his body, and feel the shrapnel that's still in his body, that he'll have for the rest of his life in many different areas. So it was good that they're not forgetting the Buffalo 10. And if you want to extend it to the 3 people, the Buffalo 13. But also they said this kind of hurt does not go away, not in 30 days, and in some cases not in 30 years. But remember this, and as we act on doing away with some of these horrific events that have happened, and as well as far as gun control and gun safety is concerned. It's voting day in a number of states. We didn't talk about this in the newsletter because there was other stuff that we needed to talk about. But there were a number of states. It was Nevada, Maine, North Dakota, and South Carolina. Now, the South Carolina is interesting in one respect, because one Republican is a Republican congressman. His name is Tom Rice. He was one of 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump for incitement of the insurrection. And so he said that, I backed this president through thick and thin for 4 years, and I campaigned for him, voted for him twice, but the utter failure is inexcusable. And he's trying today, trying to keep his seat in the state that went for Trump by more than 11 points in the 2020 election. And Donald Trump, of course, has called him all kinds of names, including a coward who abandoned his constituents by caving to Nancy Pelosi. So that is one race that a lot of people are looking at, especially as far as the Donald Trump endorsements are concerned, with these Republicans who are there. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And you guys have an election coming up in a couple of weeks, right?
Yes. And we have commercials to prove it. It's so frustrating. It's here, and they're back to back. So this person will say something about this person, then that person's commercial will answer behind it. And there's one commercial. This guy, he's running for governor, and I won't even give his name, but it was like,
is it the brother?
No, he's a white guy. No, not that guy.
The farmer.
Yeah. So it depicts him coming home to the farm with some little boys bullying him, and he stood up to the bullies. I'm like, first of all, get over it. How did that make it into your commercial? You're a grown man now, and you still worried about that time they bullied me. Yeah. And then in the next scene, he's shooting a rifle out in the woods, saying he's a strong proponent for guns. So, that guy's out of there. And the Republicans, they're infighting right now. So it's interesting to see that. And then, of course, our incumbent, who I believe has done a fair enough job, especially considering what he inherited and going through the pandemic. So it's going to be interesting.
And he's got enough money to stay in office for another 4 years, doesn't JB?
Or enough money to say to hell with all y'all.
Okay, and then there's that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I hope that you all are up to date on your registrations, Damon.
Yeah, we got our stuff in the mail. And all of us but Juanita. Mandel is away, of course, in the Air Force, and Malika still lives here, but Juanita's stuff didn't come, so I don't know what's that about. But they definitely know where I am, and they just found me because I have always voted in the city because I want to keep my city eligibility, but I've early voted, and they wrote down my ID information, and that changed my whole registration. So I am now officially a suburban voter.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah.
Do we talk to those guys, Cameron? Do
I
we
can't
talk?
even vote against Lori Lightfoot. I mean, can't vote in the
You said what you meant.
in the mayoral. Chicago be everywhere, so that's
Okay.
where I'm at.
Okay.
He's up.
Okay. Okay. This may be something that would not have gotten a lot of attention before the slap at the Oscars, the Academy Awards, but people suffering from a rare autoimmune disorder known as alopecia that causes their hair to suddenly fall out now have a treatment option for the first time. The Food and Drug Administration has approved this once a day pill developed by the drug maker Eli Lilly to treat alopecia areata, an autoimmune disease that triggers a sudden hair loss. It was originally approved in 2018 to treat rheumatoid arthritis, and now they found that it works for people afflicted by alopecia. It's the first approved treatment in the United States for the condition that affects more than 300,000 people in this country each year. This is where people, as they said, you can lose your hair quite suddenly on all over your body, primarily your hair on your head, the scalp, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, all of this affected by it. And I say that, you know, if not for the slap heard around the world, Will Smith on Chris Rock and coming forth on Jada Pinkett Smith's part about her battle with alopecia, a lot of people would not even be giving this another look. But this has definitely gained the attention there. This particular drug helps regrow hair by preventing the body's immune system from attacking the hair follicles. That's what this is all about. And so they had these clinical trials, and this we're always talking in check in and check up about being a part of these clinical trials because it can make a difference. And this was 1,200 patients with severe alopecia areata and found that 40% of those who received the daily 4 milligram dose of the drug regrew almost all of their hair after 36 weeks, 9 months.
Wow. And that's great for all the people who suddenly lose their hair. But what about us who gradually lost our hair? And what are the side effects of medication for, what is it, alopecia areata?
Yeah.
You're going to have hair growing on your areolas, lady.
I love the alliteration, Damon. You know that. But there are some side effects, and I think that some difficulty with some lung options, some of your breathing, and other things like that. But the people say who have gone through this and shown the success of this, they say that they are willing to take the drug if it will help them get their hair back.
Yeah. See, I thought it would make hair grow on your chest. It appears that it makes the hair grow in your chest.
There's also a concern about the price of it, and that they say that they are not approved by this drug is not approved by for the drug by the FDA, and it can only be prescribed off-label, and insurance often don't cover and can cost patients as much as $5,000 a month. The out-of-pocket cost for patients can be insane, but they are working on making this affordable for the people who need it. The wholesale price of Eli Lilly's drug is about $2,500 for a 30-day supply. And the company also has a program that allows people to pay $5 to $25 a month. And so
I'll just get the bootleg from Mark Cuban.
Or just get a wig and an eyebrow pencil.
As we move on, Brittany Griner's Russian detention has been extended. They're now saying the people in Russia, she'll be there for at least another 2.5 weeks, just extended by the Russian court until July 2nd. This was handed down today, according to the Russian state media outlet. This comes on the heels of the U.S. State Department officials meeting with representatives from her WNBA team, the Phoenix Mercury, to discuss ways to safely return her to America and hopefully increase the salary so women won't have to go through this again in the WNBA. Specific details of the meeting were still not quite out, but she has been in custody since mid-February. So we're looking at 4 months now.
Yeah.
That she has been held, and a lot of concern about that. But the United States, her name is out there, and not only by the WNBA, but the NBA is out there, and they're working to bring her home. All right, and please, once again, the weather, stay safe. We are looking at still triple-digit temperatures in many cities from California to Virginia. 100 million Americans are under heat advisories, heat warnings, or heat watches. All right, guys, let us now move to entertainment. It's entertainment time.
All right.
And I got one basketball-related story for you. And this is regarding Steph Curry, who is taking care of folks on the basketball court, his team on the basketball court, as well as his home court teams. Team members, rather. Golden State Warrior star is wearing his pride for his wife, Ayesha, on his shirt. The point guard sat for the finals Game 5 press conference wearing a t-shirt said, Ayesha Curry can cook. This is what the message was on the front. When asked about the fashion choice, he said, you got to ask around the room and ask Twitter. And it started when a Boston area sports bar called Game On posted a sign outside of the building that simply read, Ayesha Curry can't cook. They got everybody's attention. And so the sign became viral. And he said he didn't let the jab at his wife cooking go unnoticed. He stepped up and said, yes, Ayesha can cook. And she's got she's got all of the things to prove it. She's established her name with cookbooks that she has, as well as a lot of cookbooks, plural, The Seasoned Life, The Joy of Eating Well, The Full Plate, as well as No Time and A Lot to Do. In addition to that, she has a barbecue chain. She has International Smoke with locations in Vegas and San Francisco. And she's raising his kids and doing all of this. So he stepped up. And I really admire that about him. I like Steph Curry. Yeah.
I like him too, but his parents involved in some mess.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was wondering if we were going to go there, because Damon, is it just me? But a lot of people are involved on Twitter and elsewhere about who the parents are now seeing. They're the divorce between Del Curry and his wife, and after 30 years they were together, and so now they've moved on. But are you surprised that everybody is invested?
Well, do you know the story?
Well,
they're dating a couple, so that it's basically a wife swap.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this couple that was a couple, and they were friends of the Currys, and then they split up, and the Currys are dating each one of them allegedly. So so
it's a wife swap, exactly right. And this was a white couple, and both of them are saying they could have done better if they just stayed with each other. They're saying that Del and I don't want to call her Mrs. Curry, Mr. and Mrs. Curry, they would have done better and stayed at a certain level if they had just stayed with each other, because they're not giving any love to this white couple.
Yeah, it's looking bad. And Mrs. Curry was associated with a football player or an athlete of some sort. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what went wrong there to go to Fred Flintstone. This dude looks like Gerald Ford or somebody. It's a weird scenario, but to each his own. You just never know.
And
does Fred Flintstone do that thing that Del Curry don't do? Is the question.
Yeah, yabba dabba do.
That's what it all comes down to.
It's Sonia Curry, by the way. I knew it started with an S, but right. So Del and Sonia Curry, they're dating the other partners in this friendship couple they had, and it's a little. It's weird.
Not I had to bring it up, right?
No, I'm glad you did, because I had it down on my list, and I was wondering. It's just very curious. It's just very curious to me. All right, guys, let us close out with. Wow. You're never going to be able to unsee that, are you?
No, I just had a very bad joke. And it's not mine
Okay.
to say. I will say it afterward.
Okay. All right. And if you want to follow Khameron, you can, and perhaps he'll tell you the joke online.
How about that?
The Yogi's Jewel, our daily inspiration: be open to the divine order of life. Be open to the divine order of life.
Even if it means you got to date Fred Flintstone. All right. Tune in this week to Quake's House on Sirius XM. I was on today, so the rebroadcast will be on, and I'm doing it again next Tuesday. So Tuesday's a busy media day for me around here.
Awesome. And we appreciate your joining us every
Glad
week.
to be here.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time. And we will see you again soon. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.